Here's a question for you. What does the TV show Friends, Seinfeld, Sex and the City, and Big Bang Theory all have in common? Yes, they're some of the most popular TV shows of all time, but they are also TV shows that involve 4 or 5 friends in small groups. As I've said previously, TV networks realize that we desperately long to have these kinds of friendships in our lives, but since many of us don't have them, they know that we'll settle for watching fictional people having fictional friendships. But I'm here to tell you that you can in fact create your own small groups of friends that you can have amazing times with. Now, a lot of people are intimidated to organize activities with small groups of friends. Many people have a fear of rejection in terms of people not responding to their invitations or that their friends won't show up. Maybe that's you. The fact is that it's usually much easier to plan things when we're younger since all of us have less commitments, obligations, and responsibilities. But I want to remind you that just like friendship is a process, there are clear steps you can take to organize many different kinds of activities with small groups of friends, no matter how old you are. So, there are 3 things to consider when organizing an activity with a small group of friends. Deciding who is going to be involved, deciding what you're going to do, and actually making it happen by figuring out the date, time, location, and any other details. Now, I've witnessed many people with a lot of enthusiasm when starting the planning process. They pretty much know who they'd like to invite, they're pretty sure about what they'd like to do, but the planning of it all gets slowed down to the point where people give up and they lose their enthusiasm. So here are my top 8 tips for organizing activities with small groups of friends. Number 1, you need to be excited about whatever activity you're planning. Whether it's meeting up for dinner, organizing a movie night, or organizing a road trip. Your enthusiasm is your fuel, which drives the planning process. So if you start off with a large amount of enthusiasm, not only will this drive the process, but your enthusiasm will be contagious when it comes to motivating your friends as well. Make sure that your enthusiasm comes through in all of your emails and text messages as well. Don't be afraid to use exclamation marks and smiley faces. Number 2, establish a co-organizer for the activity. This will automatically divide your level of responsibility in half and can increase your enthusiasm and motivation during the planning process. You can easily do this by meeting up with one of your friends one-on-one and asking if they'd like to be involved in what you're planning. Assuming they are interested in what you have in mind, they might have ideas about who else to invite and other ways that they can help out. For example, if you'd like to plan a road trip but you don't have a car, they might be interested in offering their car instead of you having to rent a car. If you'd like to plan a movie night, then it's best to make sure that they are just as enthusiastic about watching a particular movie as you are. Number 3, only invite friends who are enthusiastic about what you're planning. This may sound completely obvious, but this is super important because if one of your friends is not very enthusiastic, this will likely slow down the planning process with their slow responses to your emails, and they'll likely suck the enthusiasm away from the others as well, which you really don't need. I found that the best way to get your other friends on board with whatever you're planning is to contact them individually and see if they're interested in doing what you want to do, instead of sending out a group email. Remember, people are always less likely to respond to group emails as they are individual emails. Number 4, only invite people who are available to hang out. Once again, you only have so much enthusiasm as your fuel for this process, so I don't recommend that you invite any people who are super busy with many commitments, who will likely take a long time to get back to your invitations. This doesn't matter as much when planning one-on-one hangouts, but it greatly affects the process of planning group activities since you will likely run out of enthusiasm if they slow down the process too much. This also applies to potential friends or acquaintances who may be slow to respond to your invitations since you probably haven't established a lot of trust with them compared to your actual friends. The rule of thumb here is that you need to have friends who are responsive to your invitations and share your enthusiasm for hanging out with you one-on-one before you try to organize them to hang out as a group. Number 5, use a date poll. It's very unlikely that all of your friends will be available if you just choose one date randomly. So for small groups of 4 to 6 people, I always recommend sending out a date poll with at least 6 dates to choose from, and with the first date in the poll being at least 1 week from today. I recommend using Plan Master for this, since this is a tool that I've developed specifically for this purpose. It also allows you to keep all of your details for your plan in one place and allows everyone to share their comments in one place instead of countless emails and texts going back and forth. And yes, this is the tool that I use to organize group activities with my friends, since I wanted to create an easier way to do this. Number 6, make sure you have time to bond with each other. For example, if you're planning to check out a live concert or to check out a movie in a movie theater together, make sure that you've scheduled some time to hang out before or preferably after the event, so you have time to chat about what you've just experienced together. Unfortunately, I've witnessed many people attend small gatherings of friends and they hardly have any time to chat at all because there were no plans to hang out afterwards. Once again, friendship is an investment in your social life, so for me, the activity is always secondary to the time actually spent with each other. Number 7, experiment with different combinations of friends. This will allow you to figure out which of your friends enjoy spending time with each other. Ideally, you want them to be just as excited to see each other as they are to see you. So after you organize an activity, it's a great idea to send out an email individually asking your friends if they like the chemistry of the people or if they'd like to change it up for next time to involve someone else that might be a better fit. I personally really love to hear it when I've introduced friends to each other through our group activities, and I hear that they've made plans to hang out one-on-one without me. This only makes our friendship stronger when we hang out as a group. And finally, number 8, before you leave for the event, review your worksheets for personal branding, conversation skills, and values and passions. This way you will make a great impression on your friends and you'll have an even better time with them. I'd like you to think about what kinds of small group gatherings you can organize with your friends. The best way to do this is by reviewing your worksheet for Getting Inspired, 3 Circles of Friends, your Friendship Wish List, and the Friendship Audition process. In the next section, we're going to be covering organizing large group activities, so I'll see you in the next section.